If you enjoy our work and want to support us, please subscribe to the comic book channel. This week we covered a bunch of Spider-Man stories, Justice League stories, and some top 6 lists for Spider-Man. The link to the channel is in the description down below. Thanks again. Welcome to the top 6 saddest deaths in video game history, as decided by Zodical and myself, so if you don't agree, I'm sorry. Now this should be obvious, but there are going to be spoilers in here. I mean, like, spoilers about people dying. It's kind of what the whole list is about. So today, we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to tell you about the guys that we would have possibly put onto our top 6 list. We're going to tell you about the winners. These are the winners that would automatically win number 1 if we put them on the list. And since we don't want to have a bunch of automatic wins, we decided to not put them on the list. We're going to be different, we're going to be unique, we're going to be special. This list is going to be made up of people that you wouldn't expect. Maybe. You might expect them. We'll find out soon. So our first number 1 for so many other people will be Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. Now we all know the story, and if you don't, I'll explain it rather quickly. You'll spend hours upon hours getting to know Aerith. You'll take her on dates, you'll save her life, you'll level with her constantly. Then, for the greater good, she gets killed by Sephiroth. Even now, this is one of the few moments in video game history that can force me to shed a tear. Our second number 1 person that most people would have picked as number 1 is John Marston. Seriously, the ending to his life is one of the most powerful moments in video game history. You go through the entire adventure, hoping to just free him from the government. You take whatever they're offering, and then you finally just go relax with your wife and son. But nope, they betray you in the end. And like a true cowboy, Marston goes down shooting, and you just feel that sense of hopelessness. I remember sitting there going, "No! You will all die!" Hoping that this was just gonna be like an unbelievable moment where you win in the end. But I was wrong. The third automatic number 1 is the boss for Metal Gear. Now I know we have a lot of Metal Gear fans here, and most of our Metal Gear fans know I'm very biased to the characters in Metal Gear, but I don't think anybody can argue with the significance of her death. Betrayed by her country, needing to be killed by her own student, and putting her own reputation in ruins, she still let herself go down in order to complete her mission. Those final moments in that game when you learn why she did what she did are still moving to this day. Alright, it's time to move on to our unique and special list that I'm sure you've seen somewhere else, most likely, because you know there's like a billion-and-one lists on the internet.
Number 6.
The Joker from the Batman series. Didn't think we'd put a villain on here, did you? Especially not one who has killed as many people as the Joker. But the Joker's death is powerful because of the effect it has on the characters in the Arkham universe. You would think that everyone would, but Batman just let someone die, and while it wasn't entirely intentional, the Joker's death is still in his hands, and after everyone he saved, he couldn't save his arch nemesis. You can feel the power behind this death by the way Batman carries Joker out so carefully, and he lays his body down so carefully. He can't even talk to Gordon as he walks away.
Number 5.
Sarah from The Last of Us. I've never felt like my mission was so futile than the opening of Last of Us. Yet, I just had to. I had to save Sarah. We all knew she wasn't gonna make it. I mean, she was in none of the promotional art, Joel was obviously older in the game, and the whole setup was basically, this is what makes Joel who he is. You spend the whole opening just trying to cope with what's going on and save her life. But you can't. And in a few confusing shots from a soldier, she takes an accidental shot. She didn't die in a car crash or to the infected. She didn't even go missing. She was simply shot by some scared individuals. You can see the pain of losing her on Joel's face the entire game. You deal with her loss the entire game, and every time you lose Ellie, you just think, not again, I can't lose her again. And you do this because of Joel's portrayal. You spend the entire game dealing with this single loss. Naughty Dog, you do know how to tell a story.
Number 4.
Zack from Final Fantasy VII, the series. If you didn't dive into the additional storylines for Final Fantasy VII, then you don't know much about Zack Fair. But what makes Zack's death so sad is that it needed to happen, and you knew it was going to happen the entire Crisis Core game. Yet for some reason, it still took you by surprise. Zack was the actual soldier, the true person that Cloud took his memories from. He was a true hero, and he taught Cloud what it means to be a hero. And hell, even the Buster Sword was his, passed down to him from his mentor. We end Crisis Core with Zack getting Cloud away from the Niblum incident and to the cliff, where I'd like to assume is where the sword appears to be in the Advent Children movie. The kicker for Zack is that no one knows he died there until much, much later. His girlfriend Aerith is left wondering, Cloud doesn't remember who he is, and no one knows what happened to him. He just dies on that cliff, alone, asking, was I really a hero in the end?
Number 3.
Ghost from Call of Duty. Okay, I know a lot of you guys don't realize this, but I actually do play and enjoy almost every Call of Duty. What you guys don't understand is that feeling you get when you accomplish a mission in the military. Now, I'm not going to say I ever did anything as close to the things that are in Modern Warfare, but I did see my fair share of firefights. And that feeling you get when you return to the base or the LZ, that feeling of I'm back, I can relax now, Ghost had that. And if you don't believe me, just look at that surprise. I'm serious, after Shepard shoots Roach, Ghost doesn't even react in time. He hesitates, he doesn't know what to do because he was relaxing. That's how you know Ghost thought he was safe. That's why this is so bad. To be betrayed when you are safe, you made this, you don't need to have your guard up. Not only did this shock gamers, but it shocked Ghost, and that's why this is number 3, because of that. And to top it all off, he gets left in a ditch to burn.
Number 2.
Mordin from the Mass Effect series. Okay, Mordin gets this high because of how long you spent with Mordin. You didn't spend a 5-hour game. He didn't die early on. He isn't a character who got an extra game so we can learn more about him. No, you got to spend time with Mordin as early as Mass Effect 2, and you spend the entire game helping him cope with what he did to the Krogan. Then, you spend a good majority of Mass Effect 3 helping him save the Krogan. And in the end, due to sabotage and everything going wrong, Mordin has to go to an exploding tower to finish his work. He knows he isn't coming back, and you know he isn't coming back. And he dies happily knowing that he can fix his greatest mistake, singing to himself. Yeah, you saved the Krogans, but you lost a friend along the way.
Number 1.
Who can be the number 1 if we automatically dismissed Aerith, James Marston, and the boss? Dom from Gears of War. You wouldn't think a game that is so full of over-steroided muscleheads could possibly drive any kind of emotion out of you. But I played through this entire series with my second player, Dom. Me and Dom trying to save Marie. Me and Dom watching the world crumble. 3 games of adventures, and Dom was there the whole time. You found Marie, and he was forced to take her life in 2. And then you start 3, and you know Dom has given up hope. And that is the only thing left for the characters in Gears of War at this point. Hope. He comes along, and you can tell something isn't right with your old friend Dom. He's not the same hero from Gears 1 and 2. He's a broken man. Then, as it appears Marcus is making his final stand, Dom sees the only way out. He has to destroy everything to save Marcus. In his final moments, you know this is what he wanted. He drives full force into an explosive tanker and simply looks up and says,
"Never thought it would end like this, huh? Huh, Maria?"
Then the game has the balls to play a soft piano tune, Mad World, as you watch Dom burn in an explosion. You might not have thought there was much story to Gears, and honestly, you don't need much to know what was accomplished. 3 games, and he was your second player. For the record, after it was all over, me and my buddy both looked at each other and said, well, now what? Your character's dead. I know we missed a few, and maybe we'll make a sequel to this list. I mean, all of Noble 6, Booker DeWitt, James from Fallout, Zero's multiple deaths, and countless others. What would your list have been made up of? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time here at Eligible Monster.